Hello, and welcome back to another Dokkan battle video. I know it's been a while since I've said that, but, calm down. I've been busy. I've been working. It's almost my birthday. It's going to be, a big 2-1. So, I got some preparations to do. Let me rock, okay? Let me cook. Point being here, all the heroes characters, besides the EZAs, have been announced, except for, so the only ones we don't have are the EZAs and the free-to-play character for Toa. We don't have her information, but we have literally all the new summonable characters. We're going to go through the list. I'm going to start with the old ones, and we're just going to move our way up to Vegito. So starting off with Black Janimba's Dokkan Awakening here. All of this is going to be coming from Global Dokkan's official Twitter. So yeah. Anyway, here's Black Janimba. Launches an additional attack that has a great chance of becoming a super attack when facing 2 or more enemies and guards all attacks for 5 turns from the start of character's attacking turn. Very good. That's the first turn. You will get 100% guard for 5 turns. That's very nice. He gets an additional attack and defense 40% per crossover category ally on the team, up to 200%, which is good, limited, but good. It's a good amount of stats. Plus an additional attack plus 80% with each attack performed, up to 240%. Plus an additional defense up to 60% with each attack received, up to 180%. Key plus 2 and great chance of performing a critical hit starting from the character's next attacking turn after the character performs or receives the 5th attack in battle. So he's very, very similar to in Zamasu. And not really in Zamasu, but kind of like in Zamasu, where he needs to get hits and then he does stuff. But he has guard and he's going to be building up a ton of stats. And then if you look at his super attack effect here, you can see that he is getting a 30% attack and defense. He has a big bad bosses unit. His stats are not bad at all. He has over 10,000 HP, so that is good. He will be able to do something here. Plus, if he is getting multiple super attacks in a turn, he is going to be able to really cook. I do still probably recommend, I don't even know if I would recommend giving this guy dodge, because he wants to get hit a lot. It is, technically it's only 3 times, but that's still a decent amount of hits, and that's a lot of defense that he'd be missing out on. But definitely a solid character here. I don't hate Black Janimba's design. Wrong thing. But yeah, I think he's solid. Again, his super attack effect is just 30% attack and defense, so we can skip that. Here is Golden Metal Cooler. He gets attack and defense 200% plus an additional attack and defense 80% if HP is 50% or less, or 50% or more, my fault, performing a super attack. So a lot of stats right away. Very, very good. Launches an additional attack and has great chance of becoming a super attack. That is good because you can kind of see here that he gets 50% attack and defense. So that's a lot of free stats. Reduces damage by 20% baseline, which is good. Key plus 1 up to 5 and plus an additional attack plus 40% up to 200%, an additional damage reduction of 8% up to 40% per crossover category ally on the team. So you do want to make sure that you are stacking that up. That is going to be imperative to this guy's entire kit. So just make sure that you're getting that. And then he has this weird thing that's supposed to mimic the game where he seals himself if your HP is low. It's not going to really matter. If he had big bad bosses, he'd be really, really strong, but they don't really give those to Metal Cooler characters for some reason. LR Metal Cooler has it and AGL Metal Cooler have it, but none of the other ones do. And this guy is the one that shares a lot of stuff. He has deficit boost and stuff like that. Definitely, I think this guy's a must run on the extreme version of the crossover team. 100%. This guy is, you're gonna want to run him on there because that's 60% damage reduction for free, basically, with a lot of stats that he's potentially getting. So definitely run this guy. He's super strong, and a lot of you guys should already have him from last year. All right, moving on as well. This is going to be our first new character. This is STR Fu, Dark King Fu here. I have read these. I'm just gonna be real. I've read all these already. He's really, really good. Leader skill, who cares? He's not the main banner character. Attack and defense 150% at the start of turn, plus an additional attack and defense 150% when performing a super attack. Again, very, very good amount of stats that they're getting. Extreme class allies get attack and defense 30% already. Very good. Randomly changes key spheres of a certain type STR excluded to STR key spheres when there are another 3 or more crossover category allies on the team. That is the only restriction really that this guy does have, which is a big one because if you look at the rest of his passive here, he gets an additional 100% attack plus 100% when collecting an STR key sphere. He gets dodge plus 10% up to 50%, and it gives extreme class allies key plus 1 up to 5, and an additional attack and defense 4% up to 20% per key sphere, or STR key or rainbow key sphere obtained. So you do want to be collecting STR key spheres specifically for Fu because then you're giving 5 ki and 50% attack and defense, as well as having 50% chance to dodge. I think Fu is actually really, really good. And then if you look at his super attack effect here, he's getting another 30% defense on there. So this guy doubles supers. He has 50% chance to dodge. He's supporting with 5 ki, 50% attack and defense. That is ridiculous. He has big bad bosses. He has Brainiacs, which is one of those big defensive links. He has Fear and Faith. He has Fierce Battle. He has Cold Judgment. These are really, really strong links. Once you have all these active at link level 10, plus the fact that he's supporting and he has the dodge, he's going to be really, really solid. I like him a lot. He's not on a whole lot of teams, but the ones that he's on, he's definitely going to work really, really well on. All right, moving on again to Broly. I think Broly got done kind of dirty. He is extreme int. So big L for Broly, but let's just take a look at him. So Broly gets ki plus 3 in attacking defense 200%, plus an additional attacking defense 100% when attacking. Good. Launches an additional attack that has a high chance of becoming a super attack. Nice. Launches an additional super attack when facing 2 or more enemies. You're never getting that. Launches another additional attack that has a great chance of becoming a super attack when there's a fused fighter category enemy. Zamasu's a fused fighter. We have a couple of those in the game. Plus we have the AGL, or not the AGL, the S-tier Vegito stage. So there's a couple stages where you're actually able to do that in, so that's not like the worst condition ever. And then if you look at his super attack effect here, he raises defense for 4 turns. So in your typical usage of Broly, he's going to super attack 4 times, each of which giving himself, I believe that's going to be 30% defense for 4 turns, which is a lot of stats. It's a lot of stats, but that's all he is. He's a stat machine with, say, like a Super Saiyan 4 links, which means he's going to really be wanting to run next to the other Super Saiyan 4 Broly. And this guy is going to be good depending on how good the tech Super Saiyan 4 Broly is from before. If he's really, really good, then this guy's going to be really good. Granted, his first turn is going to be very, very squishy because he's waiting to attack before he gets a bunch of defense, and he's going to scale really, really well, but it's just going to be that early game section for Broly is going to be really, really tough. So kind of an L for Broly, but at least, you know, he's pretty solid. Here's his stats, by the way. They're not amazing, but you know, let's keep it moving. Berserk controlled blue Vegeta. He is a little mid. He is tech. Here are his stats again, by the way. They're fine. Fine. All right. So he has ki plus 3 in attack and defense 180% at the start of turn, 30% chance to crit, and he gets an additional attack and defense 50% and chance of performing a critical hit 10% per heroes category ally attacking in the same turn. That's kind of I don't really like that because it means that this guy is pretty much exclusive to heroes, which there is not a whole lot of actual god characters on the heroes team. All the god characters are extreme class and then god trunks. So we're going to want to have more like blue and god characters be released in the game before this guy's going to be really, really good. I think mainly blue Evo Gogeta would be really good for this guy. He gets an additional attack and defense 40% with each super attack performed up to 120%. So you're going to want this guy to get those additional super attacks in. He gets an additional attack plus 120%, chance of performing a critical hit plus 50% when facing only one enemy at the start of turn, which means that if you take into consideration that if you're on a full Dragon Ball Heroes team at the start of turn, he's going to have a 50% chance to crit. And if you're fighting one enemy, he's going to have a 100% chance to crit the entire time. So that's nice at the very least. He launches an additional super attack and a high chance of evading enemies' attacks against 2 enemies. Again, which is not happening literally ever, but if you have that active, he's going to be able to do potentially triple super 30% defense stacks with 50% chance to dodge, which means if in like the right circumstances, if we are going to be going forward and getting multiple enemy fights, he could be kind of okay. He can be kind of okay. Not anything crazy, but he'd be solid. Now here's where we get to the headliners. First up is Super Saiyan 3 Rose, or Crimson Masked Saiyan, and we know who it is, right? And here his stat spread. He is extreme physical. All right, for him, his leader skill is Dragon Ball Hero Super Saiyan 3 or Transformation Boost category ki plus 3 HP attack and defense 170 plus an additional attack and defense 30% for characters who also belong to crossover. Just crossover. So if you're using this guy as your lead, you want to make sure you're having as many of those crossover characters as possible. But as you saw, Fu's really good. you're probably going to be ending up running Golden Cooler and Black Janemba, so that's already, they're all going to be on there because these Dragon Ball Heroes crossover, you know. The only Super Saiyan 3 transformation boost crossover characters you're going to be getting from that is like the Xenoverse stuff. So moving on. Keep plus 3 attacking defense 180%, plus an additional attacking defense 150% when attacking. That is good. Here's where we get Sag. High chance to guard. That's kind of mediocre. Additional defense was 100% and guards all attacks when there are another 3 or more crossover category characters on the team. Now, that's bad, but we just read Fu is really good and not restricted. Metal Cooler is very, very solid, but he wants crossover characters. And you have Black Janemba, who's really good. That's 3 others. Plus, if you're running him as a lead, it's going to count for that as well. So that's 4 characters already. So we can make it work, but like on other teams, you're going to get kind of rough. Again, I think Fu is able to be run on different teams. Black Janemba is definitely able to be run on different teams. And then Golden Cooler is probably not. Or we're going to want presumably a more extreme class characters. I think a big one for this guy is going to be Demon Goddess Toa. So we'll get to her when she EZAs. We'll get to her. He launches an additional attack that's a great chance of becoming a super attack when there's an enemy whose name includes Goku. That's literally never happening, so don't even worry about it. And now we're going to be going into his transformation, which is active on turn 5. This guy stacks attack and raises defense by 30%, by the way, on the super attack. So yeah, his transformation is literally just turn 5. You hit turn 5, he transforms. It's not an active skill, he just transforms. And he becomes like this like buff full power mode. Really, really cool, but it's not about that. It's about what he actually is doing. So he recovers 40% HP once he transforms, which is very nice. And then from that turn onward, he will recover another 15% HP at the start of turn, which is good. He gets Ki plus 4 in attacking defense 200% at the start of turn, which is very nice. An additional attacking defense 150% when attacking, which is again very good. He gets an additional attacking defense 150%. The more HP remaining, the greater the stat boost. He's going to be healing constantly, so that's not really that big of an issue. Plus, if you're running him on the Zamasu team, there's a lot of other characters on the team that heal as well. AGL Zamasu and Zamasu, there's a couple of them. Permanent guard. Very, very good. He goes from 50% chance to guard to an unconditional 100% chance to guard. I love that. An additional attack that has a high chance of becoming a super attack if there is an enemy whose name includes blue, launches another additional attack that has a great chance of becoming a super attack. I don't know where this one is. I don't know what the condition for this is. I think this is he gets an additional as a high chance of becoming a super attack, and then a second one if their name includes blue, which means he can super attack up to 4 times, each of which giving him 30% attack and defense. So very, very solid. Very, very good. Only issue with him, he does not have big bad bosses for some reason. So I think that's a bit of a shaft. I don't know what they would replace big bad bosses for. Whatever like STR Rose has, he should have just had that link set. So like this link set is fine. Like Prepare to Battle, Super Saiyan, Fierce Battle, Nightmare, Fear and Faith, Godly Power, will be done. Very, very good. But like one of those he could have gotten rid of for big bad bosses and he'd be significantly stronger. But yeah, he's still really solid though. I really do like his transform state. It's just you have to wait till turn 5 to get there, which can be a little bit rough. So we'll see how that goes. And then we finally have my favorite one that's been my Twitter profile picture for a hot minute now. This super long name, Limit Breaker Vegito, is what we're just going to be saying. He is super AGL. Here's his stat spread. Not crazy or anything, kind of low stats. I wish they would stop doing that for the heroes characters and just give them regular stats. I feel like that would be a lot better. Very similar to Rose, he has Dragon Ball Heroes, Grade 8 Power, or Fused Fighter, Ki plus 3, HP attacking defense 170, plus an additional attack and defense plus 30% for characters who belong to the crossover category. I don't think anyone on Grade 8 Power and Fused Fighters is on crossover that isn't on Dragon Ball Heroes. Well, no, that's incorrect. Sorry. The Dragon Ball Fusions characters, my fault. So you can have those guys, I guess. So, Vegito activates the entrance animation upon the character's entry once only, and chance of performing a critical hit plus 30%, and reduces damage received by 30% for 6 turns from the character's entry turn. That is very, very solid. Very, very good baseline. 30% crit, 30% damage reduction as an intro is very, very nice. Keep +3 and attacking defense 200% at the start of turn, plus an additional attacking defense 150% when performing a super attack, which is good. Plus an additional attack plus 100% and great chance of launching an additional super attack when there's another grade 8 power or crossover category ally attacking in the same turn. Or if there's a grade 8 power or crossover category enemy. That is a very easy effect to get active, because let's just think about a couple of the grade 8 power category characters that just came out. LR Super Saiyan 4 Goku, very, very strong. In this celebration, we're going to be getting the EZA for for physical Super Saiyan 4 Vegito, as well as Super Saiyan 4 Broly. We have the new Super Saiyan 4 Broly as well. He's not very solid, but like, you know, you can still run him on here and he's going to be good. You have the limit breakers from last year as well. Super Saiyan 4 Gohan 2. The only one that we're missing is a good Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta that isn't a limit breaker. So we would want a new Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, and the grade 8 power team is really cooking. You have the GT, Super Saiyan 4 is the duo, the Super Saiyan 4 duo that transformed into Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. There's a lot of Super Saiyan 4 characters that are going to make this guy work really, really well. Here's where things get kind of weird. Chance of performing a critical hit plus 40% and reduces damage received by 30% when all allies attacking in the same turn are grade 8 power or crossover. If this functions like the limit breakers from last year, this is a shaft, right? Because that means you are not allowed to mix the categories. For instance, if you don't know what I mean, the limit breakers, they are, I believe, crossover or full power for like Goku, and then crossover grade 8 power for Vegeta or something like that. And how that works is, say for instance, you have, and for Vegito, right, we're grade 8 power crossover. If your like setup is Vegito, a grade 8 power character who is not on crossover, and then a crossover character who is not on grade 8 power, you're not going to get this, right? So if you're doing Vegito, Super Saiyan 4 Goku, the LR, and then who's a crossover character that's on his team that you would run, like God Trunks or something, right? Since not every single one of those characters is on both of those, like, or on one of those teams, like since they're not both on one of the two teams, this effect will not take into account, and you won't get that. If it's not working like the limit breakers from last year, that's why they got nerfed. That was the nerf to them that made them smudge, right? If this guy is not like them, that's significantly better, because that means you can run something like a rotation of Vegito, Super Saiyan 4 Goku, and then God Trunks if you really felt like it. Or the blue evolution, the blue Berserk Vegeta, right? You could run that guy on here, and that wouldn't break your continuity with this additional 30% damage reduction and 40% crit, which is a really big buff, because that's 60% damage reduction and 70% chance to crit for the first 6 turns. That's really big. So as long as it doesn't work like the limit breakers last year, he's going to be really, really good. If it is like the limit breakers last year, then you're going to have to make sure that you're specifically running either a full grade 8 power setup for his rotations or a full crossover setup. So just keep that in mind once you are using this guy and once he comes out in game, because that's going to be a very big determining factor, okay? He does also have an active skill as well. For his active skill, it's he can be activated when all allies attacking the same turn or crossover, starting from the 3rd turn or on the 6th turn. It just gives him a bunch of attack and he gets a guaranteed crit. That's pretty much it. In the super attack effect, he only gets attack, so you really are going to be wanting that damage reduction because he's not getting any other defense from his super attack effect. That's all the characters so far. I know it's a lot, but there's more. Logs is getting an easy A. This Super Strike Xeno Trunks is easy A. We have a new burst mode. We have more stages to the red zone. We already know that we're getting 8 easy A characters, which is all the characters that released with Super Saiyan 4 Vegito. And then there is this STR Toa as well. So there's a lot more characters to come. When the data download hits, it's going to be like 20 characters and like 5 new stages. So just keep that in mind. We have a lot of content coming from Heroes. Overall, I think they did a really good job making it so they're not super limited. Like Rose's transformation is not limited. Rose's transformed state is not limited at all to Heroes. The couple of the other characters are mainly Fu, Golden Cooler, Black Janemba, and the Berserk Vegeta. They are a little limited, but they're a lot less restricted than what they were last year. So I do think they did a good job with heroes this year. I just want to see them having a little bit higher stats and potentially even LR, because when you run the heroes teams, they just tend to not have enough HP to really sustain anything. Like, they're able to take a couple hits, but like the hits they take are like 200k, and your team only has about like 500k HP, and then you die anyway, right? So I just want to see them giving them regular stats as well as an LR, and then I think we'll be perfectly fine. I think best case scenario, the next character we get for heroes is Blue Evolution Gogeta, and then we pog out. Anyway, that's pretty much everything for the heroes characters. Do let me know how you guys feel about them in the comments down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys all in the next one.